But at that time, we were both navigating my new job, his loss of one, and clinging so tightly onto what we had that we weren't thinking about what God could provide or bless us with if we just let him have it. So that entire winter, the last actually year and a half we've been surviving, and I'm thankful to say that's not the case anymore. So for the last 2 years, we've been starting to loosen up our hands a little bit, letting God handle our provisions, whatever that looked like. First, we decided that we needed to trust God with no question in our finances. Okay, God, cool, awesome, here you go. So we let loose. We let him have the reins. He came through time and time again in avenues we never would have thought about ourselves. Random checks in the mail from a year ago that I completely forgot about, or Brandon's customers finally coming through, or my pay raise. Things like you wouldn't go, okay, well, this is going to solve the problem right now, when in reality it was just kind of building on top of each other. This went steadily for a few months until a few months ago. Brandon had decided that he felt in his heart that we needed to up our percentage again. And just to be clear, like I said, this percentage doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's the obedience of the factor of tithing. I did question a little bit, and if that's something that I really wanted to do, but Brandon insisted that we need to let God be our provider and that upping our tithe percentage would show him that. I finally said okay. About 2 weeks went by and we were told by the port that a new company was buying our slips and that we had to vacate, but we didn't know when. So it could be tomorrow, it could be 3 months from now, it could be a year from now. They didn't tell us anything other than you're going to be asked to leave, we'll let you know. That was it. So we, of course, I'm panicking, I start crying. And we start talking about how we're going to make this happen. Brandon kept telling me, God's got a way, God's got a way. I know he's got a way. I'm like, okay, but we still need to, we're not gonna be sitting ducks. I'm gonna look at apartments, see what that would cost, how much would it take to take the boat out of the water? Do we need to go anchor out? I said, absolutely not. That was a big no for me. And we just kind of talked it out and decided that we're gonna let things be and it's gonna be okay. So the new company told us in an email that we needed to leave by the end of the month of June. Otherwise, we'd have our rent up to $300 a month, right? When you're budgeting and you already have what you have, 300 is a lot, no matter where you are. So Brandon went in to talk to them and was like, hey, do I need to know anything? Is there any place else we can go? The new guy basically told us, hey, nice to meet you. We'll talk about it later. Okay, he gives me no answers. So this was a Friday that they told us that. Brandon went in on a Monday to talk to him. And Tuesday, Brandon calls me at work, and he never calls me at work, so I know this must be emergency. Maybe he's gotten in an accident, I don't know. And I answer the phone, and he says, are you sitting down? I'm like, oh, great. We have to move out by tonight. What does that mean? And he goes, so I met the guy yesterday. He didn't know who I was. He was told about me by the people who work there. And he told me today that he's writing up a contract right now to have us stay where we are. I'm like, okay, that's good news. And he goes, as long as they work 5 hours a week for free rent. So not only did we up our tithe 2 weeks prior, and not only did we were not getting kicked out or having our rent raised to $300 a month, we were getting basically free rent. And I wept. I don't understand how God would be that, what? We're still shocked by it. And again, that's not to boast about what we've been given. It's to boast about how amazing our God is, right? He's going to take care of his kids. So he told me that, and I was like, okay, so that's awesome. He doesn't know us from Adam, but he's going to take care of us he's going to be a tool from God to take care of us when everybody else around us has moved already. It's amazing. So then Brandon decided that God was providing. He was obviously the one providing, because there's no way on our strength that we would have been able to have anything like that we needed to up our tithe again. Do you see a pattern here? Honey, we're okay now, but he felt it within his heart, and this was the first time I did not combat him. I said, okay, if that's what you want to do, by all means, we can do that. So I redid things to help us be able to do that. And then not even 24 hours later, the mortgage that we were going to have, 5 hours of work, for free mortgage a week. And then on top of that, he decided that Brandon was going to get paid hourly after the 5 hours of work. And then he was going to give him a workboat, completely outfitted, no penny for us. You just tell him what you need, and I'll get it for you. Okay, sure. And then he's going to have a crew for Brandon. But because he has a crew for Brandon, maybe I should up your pay again, because you need to manage these people. So you have the knowledge, they don't. That's fine, we can do that. I'm like, what is going on? I don't understand what's happening. I'm just completely in shock, because my whole life has never been this way. It's always been hold on as tight as you can, because it's the money that you have and you need that to pay the bills. But when you let God have it, how much more you're missing out on if you don't. Oh my goodness. This is just recent. I'm still in shock by it. And we walk around our boat going, I don't know what's going on, because we are so in shock by it. And God's just amazing when you obey him. When he's asking for your obedience, he just wants you to just lavish in his blessings he has for you. So let him. Just let him. How amazing would that be? Malachi 3:8-12. Will a mere mortal rob God? Yet you rob me. But you ask, how are we robbing you? In tithes and offerings. You are under a curse, your whole nation, because you are robbing me. Bring the whole tithe into the storehouse, that there may be food in my house. Test me in this, he says it. He says, do test him in this, says the Lord Almighty, and see if I will not throw open the floodgates of heaven and pour out so much blessing that there will not be room enough to store it. Wow. Guys, seriously, he promises you that.